Child mutilation is over by Leaflit Asari. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And let's
Breaking
watch
Secretary RFK announces his HSS will now ban both Medicaid and Medicare funds from going to hospitals and institutions who conduct transgender operations for minors. It's ending the trans ideology will no longer be subsidized. When it comes to minors, I 100% agree with this. For minors, I think.
Okay, hear me out, guys. I have no idea what are they going to talk about here in this video. Like, is this some kind of somewhat related to what has been happening about censorship, age verification, and this stuff? That's it? I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure that I seen this guy before related to this stuff. And yeah, let's see what's going, what is all about. I hopefully Leaflet will help me understand this.
There's no debate, I think, at all. So I think this I 100% agree with, because I just don't think kids are smart enough to make their own decisions. We don't count them as adult. We don't count them as adults. So how could they possibly make a life changing decision like that? Right? I think there's enough cases. There's enough cases of people regretting it and like leading to terrible results that I think it makes sense when it comes to kids specifically. I think for adults it's debatable. I think there's like a debate to be had there, whether or not it's considered to be. I have to think about that one. That one's kind of more complicated. I think that the kids one though is very clear cut and easy. That line of thought is very easy. It's just that kids can't make their own decisions. It's the reason why it's illegal.
Yeah, this is very simple to understand.
Because it's illegal because you can't expect kids to make a
I saw this video.
It's
like about the Trump
right?
or the
and
decision.
if we're gonna have that standard, then that should apply like evenly, right?
The
anyway,
50 million for Maduro's hat.
Is a flat lie. I actually don't agree with that. I actually think that there are people that actually are trans. I know it's like kind of, I know a lot of people won't agree with me on that here, but I actually think that's a real thing. But I think there should be stricter. Okay, so while I said that, I don't think everybody that says that they are. Does that make sense? Like, I think that there needs to be stricter criteria, medical criteria for it, basically. Because it is, again, a life-altering decision that actually has societal ramifications. So I think that when that's the case, we have to be much more serious about it. It can't be a like, oh, well, like, I feel like it now, so like that's it. That's all there is to it. I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fair to society, to be honest. Anyway, most people who have gender dysphoria just gay. You can be okay, so I think that's true. So sorry. I think that there.
What? You can be
Okay, so I think that's true. So sorry. I think that there are people that actually do have that. I don't think it's the same thing as a gay person. I don't think they're the same.
Of course, because it isn't something that was born with these wokies, you know. Like homosexuality happens like since thousands of years ago, like. So it isn't something new, and I believe it somehow happens, like people really feel like that. You know, I believe in a natural movement of this. A natural movement, I say, like people usually feel attracted to the same sex, just like that. But all of these weird stuff that has been happening lately that came together with wokies and this stuff, it's so artificial, you know. It's all bullshit. It's all a fucking movement created artificially by big corporates and government and feminism and all this bullshit.
And being trans are the same thing. I actually don't. Anyway,
And yes, I believe that feminism is the main root. Like, of course, I think feminism is also something that was created by design by then, but it's the main root for all of the other bullshits that came after, you know? It was the main root that from where all the branches came, you know? Yeah.
Gender dysphoria is real, but it's nowhere near as widespread as activists make it out to be. Yeah, that's what I meant, basically. Yeah, I agree with that. As somebody who was exposed to Tumblr and all the Tumblr people, how do I explain this? Honestly, people are going to be very mad at this. People are going to be very mad at this, but you know, I'm going to say it anyway, because I kind of don't care anymore, to be honest.
I only know Tumblr because of the memes and people talking about, but I never used it, so I have no idea of what actually happens. Maybe it's too old. I don't know.
He's from Tumblr, right? So, and this isn't really about my brother. This is about the people around my brother. Okay, so like, because of this, right? Because you know, I was really close with my brother, right? And so like being so close to him, it's like I met a lot of people, all right? And the way it works in those communities, right? The ultra and guys, I'm pretty sure like this kind of thing came out of that community. Like I feel like Tumblr infected the whole world, to be honest. But in these kind of
that's a very strong statement.
They have social hierarchies, right? And that
for
social
real?
hierarchy
I mean, I'm not sure.
is based on the amount of buffs that you can cast. So like what would happen is if you had to PvP somebody, it doesn't really matter how much damage you have because the buffs are all OP, right? The buffs give you like 3 times the amount of damage, like each buff, right? So even if like you put all your points into like damage, it doesn't matter. You put all your points into power, it doesn't matter because all that matters is how many buffs you have. The buffs are so broken, right? So you would have situations, right, where a person, and like I literally saw a person say this in one of my brother's groups. A person said, how can I even be argued with? I'm a person of color, I'm gay, I have PTSD, anxiety disorder, and I'm trans. How can anybody argue with me? And I remember hearing that and being like, what? What? How does that make you right? I was like, what the fuck?
Oh my god.
Right? Like, I was like,
my
what?
god.
And then like, so what happens is they stack all.
And you know what's Leaflit? In the world that we live today, he was actually right. Because of the insanity, the way that things are, you know. I mean, I don't think that works anymore, but it still kind of works, you know. It's still kind of valid. It wasn't supposed to be even like, it wasn't supposed even to work like 1%. So for the fact that this still works somehow, like happens today, it's still very absurd, you know. But yeah, I get what you're trying to say. The guy has literally all the buffs, so it doesn't matter what you do, you're never gonna win.
All these buffs,
oh my
right?
god.
And they use that like, and you have to understand like,
yeah,
okay,
I saw this buff.
You might not get this if you're like a guy, but a lot of like these kind of women-oriented friend circles are really based on like a lot of tea and a lot of disagreement. Basically, it's not really. There's a lot of squawking. They just all like shit talk each other constantly, right? And the thing is like the only way you can defend yourself against the shit talk is to argue back, right? And then when you argue back, the amount of buffs that you have actually makes you more right. So okay, so now that's the first part. Okay, buffs. So now like understand that like the buff thing, right? Now imagine for a second you live in America, okay? What is the majority race in America? Right? It's white people, right? So white people have the lowest stat multiplier, right? So you have the lowest stat multiplier if you're white, right? And then your only buff is that you're a woman, right? Your only buff is that you're a woman. But they're all women. Almost all of them are women. There's like maybe like 5% men. It's like 95% women.
So your
right?
buff is not valid.
So the woman buff doesn't even work. Do you see what I mean? Because they just counter it with their own woman buff. So now you have no woman buff,
my
right?
god.
So imagine
this
you are
is so
a regular ass white woman and you're like in these groups, you're fucked. Do you see what I mean? You're absolutely fucked. There was like
because the others have the fat buff, the the color buff, you know, all of this stuff, the disability buff. Oh, Leaflit, you can already use your autism card buff because of the test you've done.
If you ever said like, well, that's not fair,
I'm
you're
just
being
joking.
mean to me.
Okay,
You'd be
don't
like,
take
yeah,
this
well, you know what? I'm gay, I'm a person of color, and I'm trans. And then you lose. Do you see what I mean? So now you have a bunch of people inventing a bunch of buffs. Just making shit up, basically, right? And then they basically segment off these buffs to make them sound bigger, right? So it's like...
Just say that you're a lesbian that is attracted to men. It's fine. Then you got
Using,
another
like,
buff.
one word to describe a buff, they would separate that one buff into like 5 buffs. Do you see what I mean? And so now you have cases where, you know, a person who is like literally like buffless, right? You're buff, like if you're a white woman in these circles, you're buffless, right? So they would basically have to make up buffs in order to like have higher buffs than the other person. Do you kind of see what I'm saying? Where I'm going with this is in order to actually exist in the social hierarchy,
all of
right?
these buffs
You
are
have to basically, you have to consider the ones that like you can say that you have that are irrefutable. Because here's the thing: if you're you know, a white woman and you say, well, you know, actually I'm trans, or actually I'm gender fluid or whatever, right? They like or xeno whatever the hell they say that shit, right? The other person can't say
bullshit
that's not true
fluid.
because now you're if the other person cannot use like, oh well, that's not real, how can that be real? They can't say that because now you're invalidating the other person's identity. And again, I'm not saying that there aren't people like this that actually believe this, and I'm gonna be real with you, I'm kind of okay with it as long as they're not like
you use the trap card to nullify all the
pushing it on
buff.
other people and saying like, you have to call me this, otherwise like I'm gonna throw a fit and cancel you. Like whatever, if they want to do whatever they want in their own little communities, I don't really care. Like, to be honest, they could do whatever they want, right? But a lot of it is like they use this in order to have a stronger buff stack to attack other people.
Like I was trying to be serious like about this. I really understand at the beginning, but after she started to talk about buffs with everything, like if it was a game, I just can't take this serious anymore. I'm sorry, I'm having so much fun with this talk.
I think that's where it came from personally. Guys, it's the highest level of woman PvP, to be honest. It's the pro server. It's like the server that like all the pros go to basically for like woman PvP. Zarglug says,
to be honest, I never was good with PvP before, not even in games or live, you know? I was always awful.
with all due respect, I strongly disagree with you.
I think I'm a bit better on live
mutilating themselves out of flawed self-perception. These people need help. Giving them to cut off their genitals is the opposite of helping. That's how you make the problem worse. Why do you
Also, I think having that channel made me somehow improve in live PvP,
think that
you know?
high rates of self-deletion? Well, don't you think that they could have high rates of that because that's not actually the problem that they have? Not only that,
but
like,
I still have a long way
general
to
sense,
go.
People are more mean to them, right?
Until I
don't think
become
it's,
the best of the
I
seven.
don't think it's quite as bad as people make it out to be, but it still would be worse, right? That's the common denominator. They all have. Well, then
best
again, like what I'm telling you is a lot of those cases are built from, again, this sort of PvP structure. That's my point. My point is that it needs to be significantly more strict in how it's applied. I theorize that the higher rate comes from it being the only true escape from reality that they try to deny. It's possible. I don't know. People got more PvP mechanics. Real life has more PvP mechanics than most games nowadays, says Innocuous.
Yeah, that's true.
But the thing is, I saw all this shit coming from like over 10 years ago. Like I already put it this way. I was on the test server and I thought, wow, this
has more
combat
mechanics
is so
than
fucking ridiculous. No way this gets patched into the live build. No way this comes out on release. And then it actually did. And I was like, no fucking shot. I was like, what the fuck? Right? I was like, what the fuck are the devs thinking? Stupid people always exist. The issue is giving them power. Well, yeah, I mean,
what the fuck were the devs thinking?
Like the base, like it's like I said, the basic default buff is woman. That's like the level 1 buff. That's the buff that you learn at level 1 is woman. And then when everybody has that buff, it's useless. That was my point. So
it's actually a strong buff, but half of the population has
you want to know
buff.
the sad? You want to know what I actually believe though, and this is like kind of sad. This is the sad thing, and I think that this is really fucked up. Like honestly, I think this is the most fucked up thing about everything, is that I think the people that are using
white
it for
man
buffs,
is born with the patriarchy
suicide
buff.
rate is actually makes the buff stronger because they bring it up all the fucking time.
Oh
and
my
I think that's
god.
the most fucked up thing to like trans people, I think, to be honest. I think like all this culture of the buffing and debuffing culture is from Tumblr.
Yeah, it's like it also make the game unfair, you know, like you're playing PvP and you want a fair PvP, but the other person has so many buffs, like, looks like a fucking GM, you know? A fucking game master. So it is unfair, like, the guy is immortal, you cannot even do damage to them. And he will just one hit you with, 9,999 damage, you know, each hit, you know, it's absolutely like that. And always
Has been
creep.
very bad for people that actually are gay and people that actually are trans. It's been terrible for them, I think. And the thing is like, at least from my point of view, from like what I've seen, these communities got completely fucking hijacked by these psychos. And now, due to lack of gatekeeping, basically there's a lack of gatekeeping. I think that stems from people wanting to be, so if you're like LGBT, if you're like LGBT, right? Like you're in a situation where like you want to be accepted yourself. So you're like, well, I'm gonna accept everybody then, right? And I think what happened was the psychos used that mentality to basically hijack all of that movement. And that entire like movement was basically hijacked by psychos, I think, is what happened. These narcissistic fucks that like use all the buffs in the world basically hijacked that feeling, and now they control it.
This
now,
stuff
like, I feel
are
like the
hijacked
LGBT people have
since
nowhere
the
to run.
beginning of this
It's like
movement.
you're just fucked now because that's your community now, right? That's how I feel about it. Again, that's my point of view, like from like as a person who has seen this like kind of develop, right? And like if you weren't like on Tumblr, you didn't interact with Tumblr people, you probably have no fuck.
I have like so much difficult in being part of any type of community, because nowadays for you to be part of any community, you must fit like 800 fucking % inside of the community. If you fit 99% inside of the community only, but there is actually 1% of you that is different, that differs from your actual the actual goals of the community, you're screwed. Okay, you are. They just will call you whenever bullshit they want, and they will call you whatever bullshit they want, and they will just get rid of you. Every community that you find, you'll find yourself the same result. Like, there is nothing much you can do about it. Like, really. And because of that, for jumping community after community after community, because I'm very like airhead, you know, it took quite a few time for me to realize that I just can't. I can't be part of any community. Yeah, because I cannot fit like 100% anywhere. It's just how I feel. So every time I try to participate in some kind of community because I have something to do with that stuff, I always have people raging against me and treating me with hate because I say some things that diverge from the echo chamber of that community, you know? Because I have different visions of that, and I try to point some things, not because I want to feel different or better or something like that, but because I want actually that community to be better. For example, some games that I've been talking about lately on X. I was pointing mistakes in some gachas, for example, and all I received was an immense amount of nonsense, absurd rage, you know? Like, you can't critique, you cannot, because the echo chamber doesn't let you. They are very toxic communities, all of these games. So even though I play a lot of these, like, but in the moment that I have to critique any of them, I instantly regret, you know? It's complicated.
What I'm talking about. You probably think that what I'm saying is absolutely crazy, but I guarantee you it's true. I guarantee you, like, this is how things were. Because again, I remember distinctly people saying like, well, how can you even argue with me? I'm this, like fucking entire list of like
I heard the same bullshit
and,
as well.
like mental illnesses and you know, societal factors. They just basically buff dump you. They buff dump you at the very beginning of the argument.
I just can't take these people serious
and, like,
anymore
when
they say stuff like this.
This happened to me where I was talking to like a trans person, and I told them, well, you know, if your parents don't want to pay for your thing, like, and I already told you, like, how is this bad advice? If your parents don't agree with your trans thing and they don't want to pay for it, then you should get a job and pay and do it yourself because you're an adult. Right? I don't think that that's a bad thing to say. Like, I think that's actually the most helpful thing I could have possibly fucking said. Right? And then they told me, well, how do you, they told me, well, you know, you're a white woman. I'm like, what the fuck does it have anything to do with it? Like, I never even told you what my race was. Like, why would you say that? Right? Like
it doesn't matter.
This is what I'm talking
it doesn't
about.
matter
They were
because they
24,
are
yeah,
not
were
grounded
24
in
at the time, yeah.
reality, Leaflit. Leaflit, they are grounded on feelings. On feelings only. That's all about them. That's all that matters to them. For them, you can be actually like, you could be even like black or yellow yourself. It doesn't matter. And they could even saw photos of you. They would just claim that you are a white supremacist and all of
No.
this bullshit.
Half of these new terms are Tumblrisms just because.
All
and then
that
basically
matters for
Tumblr went
them
to
is their
TikTok.
feelings.
So like Tumblr, all the Tumblr people.
I know I repeat this stat quite a lot. I know it might look over-exaggerated, but that's the truth. Like, how can... I mean, we all know this. I say this quite often, but I still can't accept sometimes. Like, right now, while I'm saying this, I myself am thinking, how can they do such a thing? But I just... Oh, God, I can't accept. They do this, but because for us, this is just impossible. Like, how can you deny reality in such a strong way like that? Like, you're not only denying reality, you're trying to rewrite it. Like, not even trying. That they actually rewritten the reality. I don't even know if I said correctly, grammatically correctly. But yeah, they actually done this many times before. Like, they succeeded on that for quite a long time. For now, they have been failing, but oh God, this is so fucking ridiculous. I don't even know. Oh God.
Well, when the
Let's
Tumblr thing
continue.
happened, they all went to TikTok, basically. Yeah, white woman
It's
debuffed.
brain
Guys, yeah,
damaging,
She
you
debuffed
know.
me. She literally debuffed me. And
Guys, it's like I always say, don't try to understand the minds of the insane. Don't try to get inside the minds of the insane. This only will fry your brain, like it's happening with me now. Like, you will never understand because it doesn't make any sense. And it doesn't make any sense because, again, they are not grounded in reality. So if they are not on reality, everything is possible. Like, really, like, oh my God.
called me a white woman. Did they just assume that my race? They did. They assumed my race because of like how I was talking. And they basically said like, you're the reason why trans people get killed in the streets, and you're the reason why trans people kill themselves is because of people like you.
Wow,
This is exactly what I'm
wow.
talking about. They're weaponizing all of the bad things that happen to actual trans people for like their own fucking narcissistic buff. That's my point. Next time they replace your R's with
narcissistic
replace
buff.
your R's with L's.
Oh
and
my God,
can
they
get...
could stand
You mean my L's
narcissistic
with
buff.
R's? You mean, right? And so that way they'll yeah. I should just talk like that. You're right, 100% right. They'll never.
Okay, I watched a very. I'm sorry, my memory sometimes is like of a golden fish. You guys know that. But I can easily tell, at least the videos that I remember, this one is it's probably the best video I saw from Leaflit, like for real. I'm having so much fun reacting to this, man. Leaflit, thank you very much for this entertaining
They'll
content.
never mistake it again, right? Welcome, Tumblr people. They'll never accuse me again.
Also, I wasn't used to watch side scrollers, but I started watching because I watched the episodes that Leaflit's there, and it's very interesting. I really like to see her there. At the beginning, I found kind of uncanny, like see flash streamers, you know, like flash YouTubers like with VTubers together was kind of weird. But I mean, I kind of got used to it. Yeah. Well, it became really fun. I started watching. I think I watched what? 3 of them already, or 2. I don't remember.
True. Debuff countered, right? Oh, obviously. And yeah, I'm just telling you that's where it comes from my point of view.
Sorry,
And again, you
I
might think
couldn't notice who donated me just now. I will check that later and message you. Thank you very much for that. It helps a lot, okay? And I will see later who sent me that. I just listened the little sound. I wasn't watching my screen. I lost it.
you might think what I'm saying is crazy, but you had to be there, man. Like you had to be there to see it. It was quite, and that was like the day. That was the day I was like, wait a minute, this is retarded, right? Like, cause I was like, wait, they can't argue with you because you are those things, but that has nothing to do with the argument. I was like, wait a minute, that's stupid. I was like, what? And the thing is, you have to understand is like a lot of them believe this. Like actually, like it's almost like they're not living in the same reality. It's fucking weird. It's like, dude, I feel like I'm living in a parallel universe half the time. You know, like I feel like, wait a minute, how is this even possible? Like, how do you what? Like what? Like how? Where did
they don't live in reality?
You know, like how do they?
It's not like they don't live in reality.
Backlash because red pill. No, I got banned, bro.
They live on rainbows, Leaflit. They live on fucking rainbows.
I think it was violence I got banned for. From the group. Words of violence, yeah. Get a job, holy shit, she's assaulting me? Yeah, basically. Anyway. That's how I feel about the whole thing. And again, like, guys, like, I just want to say, like, I know that
their words is like their words upside down, you know? That hate is filled with love. And that love is filled with hate. It's such an amazing thing.
Immediate
oh my god.
Instinct is to be like, okay, well, you know, fuck all the LGBT people, fuck all the immigrants, fuck all the people from other countries. I don't think that's the right. I get it. Like I understand.
I see this piece of her video being cut and being used against her without context.
Because a lot of it is coming from those groups. But I actually don't think that it's... There are normal people within those groups. And I think it's just a bunch of freaks, really. It's a bunch of freak Karens, really, to be honest. LGBT is a political thing and does need to be addressed. How do I explain it? I saw a video last night, but it was basically black people that were reacting to a video by Nick Fuentes. And Nick Fuentes was basically going off on, like, the black community. But he was saying that it's not because he hates black people. It's because of things that happen in the community, and it makes a lot of sense. And a lot of the black people actually agreed with him. The videos I was watching, the black people agreed with Nick Fuentes on it, right? And I think the same thing is kind of happening with like the LGBT and other communities, basically, right? Like you have a bunch of bad actors, and it's not about being... Again, it's not about being of a certain race. It's not about being an immigrant. It's not about being, you know, gay or trans or whatever. It's about there being a bunch of bad actors who are acting retarded, and then they basically use and then so like you say something like you know, stop acting like a fucking, you know, like a fucking retard, and then they say like, oh, it's because I'm this. That's why you're saying that. When it's not really about that, right? Like they're debuffing your argument by using their immutable characteristic.
Debuffing
right? Like how
argument.
many times have you seen like you say
oh my god, I'm loving
like
it.
reasonable, and then people are like, oh yeah, well you're only saying that because I'm gay. Oh, you're only saying that because I'm black. Oh, you're only saying that because I'm Asian. Like people will use that as like a shield when it has nothing to do with that. Well, the question is, but which tribe will they choose? The American tribe or the LGBT tribe, and which is the ultimate allegiance? Well, I mean, that's the thing, right? By saying that it's specifically a thing about these communities, you're playing into the trap by actually not engaging with the argument being in bad faith, but actually by targeting the specific community that has nothing to do with it, right? Because there's gonna be like, again, like the dude that like fucking hates he hates like fucking Gavin Newsom, right? He's gay. He fucking hates Gavin Newsom. He's always like, he's putting everything he has into fucking ruining the Democrats in California, right? But he's a gay dude because his allegiance is to America and to the people of California. That's what I'm saying. I'm a big not all advocate, but if the factors aren't talked about on why something happens, it's absolutely worthless to me, says Shamit. I don't know if I'm gonna get your argument wrong, but like that is the temptation. Yosalzar Citron, thank you so much for the bits. Real politics over identity politics is a logical way. I agree. I agree 100%. My memory says it really irritates me to see people that look like me do retarded shit all the time. It always gets the spotlight, so it becomes, oh, there's all like this kind of deal. Yeah, I 100% agree with you. My memories, and you want to know.
Yeah, we totally understand
and
that.
I don't think this is fair. Obviously, this is very unfair. But I think it's up to these individual communities
this is all
to
fucking
basically take a
unfair.
stand against bad
This
actors.
is all based
So
on
it's
being
gonna,
unfair.
and this is
From
actually what the
beginning,
black people
happens
said
to
in that
now.
video that I was watching, is that black people need to step up and say something about the black people that are bad actors. And the same thing that, like, you know, some people from the LGBT community have to stand up.
Yes, exactly. The main communities, because just think about it. They did all of these movements to separate people into different groups, you know, to put one against the other. So the best way for you to get rid of this is people from from each one of these groups actually individually, like, stand up against this bullshit from inside, from each one of their groups entirely, like the feminists, like the woman inside the feminist sphere, like standing up against the feminists, the race, the black and the Asian standing up against the racism, you know, and the LGBTQ, the homosexual is standing against the LGBTQ plus blah 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 community, you know. They need to, the ones with brain cells, the ones that are grounded on reality, the ones that have noticed the path full of bullshit along the way that we are heading right now towards. The ones that notice that all of it needs to stand for it, needs to stand against it, you know, and fight for it, because it's the bigger damage that can come from is from the people inside of those bubbles, of these groups. Of course, people need to fight it everywhere, independent of their color, gender, race, etc. It's so valid, but it's undeniable that this stuff is stronger when it's from the people inside of the bubble, of each one of these bubbles fighting against their own bubbles. You know,
Against
it's way
bad
stronger.
actors in those communities,
But
as well.
it's also, I understand that's also way more difficult because you're probably alone. Like, you cannot expect, like in a bubble of feminists, we'll have more than, like, if there is 1,000 there, like, let's suppose, you can count that you're gonna have like more than 10, you know. It's way difficult because you're fighting your bubble from inside out. Like, of course, it's not exactly like that. You have external help as well. And you can count on that. A lot of people will appear from where you least expect to support you in these moments, you know. But you have to start. If you feel like you want to stand for, but you don't know how, or you feel like you're being silenced, because I know a lot of people disagree with a lot of stuff. It's like I said, most people enter in groups like I was talking before. I could never be part of any group, but I'm not talking about these groups specifically, but games in general and a lot of other stuff, because I couldn't agree with the totality of it, like 100% of it. If I disagree with one part of it, I was already out, you know. There is it, and that's what I'm talking about here. So if you disagree with part of it, and this is the most difficult stuff, because if you disagree partially with it, just if for a little, it is enough for you to get kicked out already, you know, and have all your arguments disabled. It's complicated, but you have to stand for. That's it. There is no easy way, and you can bet on that. The hard way is always the best way. Like, the easiest way always will take you for a lot of bullshit along the way, and you may find yourself even on problems on this easier way, on this easiest path than going along the hard way. Not now, but in future, you're probably gonna find it.
And that's really all that you can do, unfortunately.
Oh God, what the fuck
I don't
am I
think it's
saying?
ideal. Obviously, that's not what I think.
I'm sorry. I think I lost the point talking about you. You guys know me, like, along the way I lost the point talking about it. But
think is the
yeah,
best.
that's
That's
it.
not what I think it should be. But it is what it is, right? That's what I'm saying. And it always feels bad to say that. It always feels bad to say, like, you know, well, what can you do, right? Unfortunately, that's on your hands. You're not the one who is being a bad actor.
Exactly.
It's
on your
hand. In your hands. It's in your lap to like fix it, unfortunately. And the reason why is because those people only listen. They only listen to like what is with.
Yeah, they will only listen to the ones equal to them because they don't have enough brain cells inside their heads, you know. They need to feel like... It's like my culture, for example. My culture is very much like that. They don't vote in a candidate because of what that candidate has to offer on elections, you know. They vote on a candidate because how much they can identify with that person. That's stupidity. And because most people here are dumb as fuck, are fucking idiots, you know, and most of them are like not actually good people. And they vote on people who they can identify with. So you can expect that the people that who they identify with are not that good as well, you know. But yeah, I want to say, I wish I could say more about this process, but yeah, not a good idea in a quote-unquote free country,
within the
right?
group, right? So here's what's going to happen, right? If you have, say you're like, you know, say you're white, right? And you speak out against one of these psycho people, right? Like say there's like, you know, some issue, right? And then you bring it up, they're just going to say you're racist, right? So if you're like white and you say like, hey, this is bad, like, and this is a bad cultural thing. This should be addressed. They're going to say, oh, you're fucking racist. I see. It's because you're racist. They're going to be able to hide behind that. So that's why it has to come from within. Do you see what I mean? Because that's the mentality that they have. Well, no, Notorious MIC says, I don't care about being called racist. It's not about whether or not you care. That's the problem, Notorious MIC. The problem is they don't care. Does that make sense? By them being able to call you racist,
It
basically
totally makes
invalidates your entire argument to them, right? To them and to everybody in that little group, right? So you need to have people from within kicking them out. That's the only way. And again, like, that's not how it should be. That's obviously awful and I hate it, but that's reality and that's unfortunate, right? Lunson Poet, thank you for the bits. The problem is when people speak out.
That's why I consider this a permanent mental illness, like an Alzheimer or etc. Like, of course, like there is no comparison with Alzheimer. It's a very, very serious disease. But come on, the guys who become like that, they just you can just cure a person like this. It's for me, it's incurable. Like the chances are so fucking low. Have you ever known someone who recovered like being a leftish? An idiot like this, grounded on feelings? Have you ever know? I heard stories about some people like this, but I didn't never actually saw one, you know? Damn, I don't know, even the ones like, for example, Nora Vincent, that ended up like Minecrafting herself, like after all of the research that she done. I don't even know if she decided to like stop being a fucking feminist after all of that. I don't even know if she done that. I didn't read her book. Maybe I should read it. Maybe the answer is there. I'm not sure. Probably not. But even though she reached all of those conclusions and ended up like losing her mind like in a tragic way, losing herself like, yeah, Minecrafted. I still don't know if she actually like repented choosing this path, you know. It's how like serious, how brain damaging this stuff really is.
They get called Uncle Tom or similar. Yes, exactly. That's why you need enough people, right? Because if you have enough people, then it's kind of like, well, you can't really say that anymore, right? Anyway, this is a good segue into this video, actually. The video here is why intellectuals are fucking idiots.
Before we go any further, I want to take this brief moment here to thank all of you, my patrons, that support my work here on YouTube, and especially my 5-tail Fox Tier member, Zalost, and my 3-tail Fox Tier members, Heath Rowell, Fenny Sylvy, and Wolf, for the incredible support to my work. Thank you very, very much. You guys are amazing. Also, thanks to everyone who donated to me through Tron and to all of my YouTube members. You can support this channel life and growth with just $5 a month and gain access to many perks. This is less than a burrito. Check out my Patreon. Link is in the description below. Why intellectuals are fucking idiots. Very good way to end the video. That's it. Was a very nice video, Leaflit. I loved it. Very fun. Of course, it's a serious topic and all, but when you talk about it, making that like a game with buffs and etc., I just couldn't take that serious. I just couldn't. I'm sorry. Thank you very much for the content lift. Thank you everyone for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Check my links below: Patreon, Discord, Tron, and Ko-Fi. And you know the drill. I will see you on the next one. Bye.